Alright, so Ezra 4. At first glance, I didn't really have any thoughts on it. There were no specific verses that stood out to me, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized that it's a lesson that can be applied to us as Christians. So the enemies of the Jews came to discourage the building of the temple. And in my cheater notes, it says that they had their own gods that they were worshiping, but they also took up the worship of the Lord as the God of land. And so they were Christians, as we say, and the Jews knew this, so they stood their ground. They said they were under direct command of the king of Persia to reconstruct this temple, and they weren't going to allow these people to come along and falsely worship in it. And this ends up causing their enemies to discourage the continuation of constructing the temple. And I think honestly this can be directly applied to how we interact with our enemies as Christians, just people that oppose our beliefs. As a lot of you know, I was married into a family that's predominantly Catholic. They're some of the most devout Catholics I've ever met. And that can be a real challenge when it comes to conversation, when we easily have contradictions in the foundations of our beliefs. And when you're put in uncomfortable conversations like that, it's easy to just want to say, actually it's fine, as long as we're both reading the same book. You just want it to be over, and you don't want to risk hindering that relationship with that person. But in this chapter, it's a good example of how we as Christians are supposed to stay firm in our beliefs, stand our grounds, even if it means rejecting potential help, or if it ends up delaying where we thought the relationship with that person was going to go. But it's important because also if you end up just giving into the uncomfortable aspects of the conversation and just wanting it to be over, you end up being a misrepresentation of the importance of Scripture and the authority of it. And I think that when that results in maybe your relationships or the conversation being delayed, like the temple was delayed, it's important to just have patience with God, to remember that He has a plan, and that eventually those who are meant to come to Him will come to Him with or without your help. So, but yeah, just remaining firm in what we know to be true in Scripture, even if it means opposing those who are closest to you. So I wonder if you guys have different thoughts with this chapter. I'd be definitely curious to hear them, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.